Will Terra Nova return for a second season? Let's converse upon it. Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage. Hello and welcome to Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage. I'm Mario Pacheco, and this is my swivel chair. I've lost hope to a certain extent in network television ever since Lost came to an end. I will swear to you that Lost is the best show ever, and quite possibly there will never be a show like Lost ever again. The only shows that I really look forward to watching are USA Network's White Collar and Psych. That's for another day. This season, however, there's a whole slew of very promising new shows on network TV that I have come to enjoy. Only one can be the best. For me, the best new show of this season was Fox's Terra Nova. I even checked out and filmed the Terra Nova panel screening at the New York Comic Con last October. There's a link below if you want to check that out. Now, why do I feel Terra Nova is the best new show of the season? Terra Nova has a lot of things going for it. First off, there's dinosaurs. Everyone loves dinosaurs. Secondly, stars Avatar star Stephen Lang as Commander Nathaniel Taylor. He got his autograph at Comic-Con too. Interesting tidbit, he apparently doesn't like for people to touch him. Thirdly, Steven Spielberg is one of the executive producers. You all remember that Steven Spielberg made the dinosaur film classic Jurassic Park. Also, they have this logically consistent premise that the pilgrims from the future travel through this fracture in space-time to a parallel path, circumventing the whole butterfly effect problem. That was initially a problem for me when I first heard about Terra Nova early last spring or so. I thought to myself, if they go back into the past, won't they change the future and potentially wipe themselves out of existence or something? I wasn't going to watch it because of that. I've heard some criticism of Terra Nova that it focuses too much on the trials and tribulations of the Shannon family. But for me, that's what makes Terra Nova different from other science fiction shows. You don't see too much family drama in shows like Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis, which were great shows, but that's just what makes Terra Nova just slightly better. One of my favorite past shows, ABC Family's Kyle XY, also balanced science fiction and family/teen drama, and that was running a lot better than the child porn they have in ABC Family now. Anyway, my favorite part of the Shannon family storyline is that son Josh feels resentment towards his father Jim for getting arrested for punching out a population control officer when the unauthorized third child Zoe is discovered. In the finale, Josh punches out Lucas Taylor when he gets handsy with Sky. And when Jim gets involved, they get thrown into the brig. While they're there, Josh tells him how he now understands why his father punched out that population cop. He just couldn't help it. Like especially how Josh refuses to leave the brig when Sky convinces Lucas to release him. It was like the resurrection for the hero's journey of their relationship. The best thing about Terra Nova is something that was brought up by Stephen Lang, Jason O'Mara, and executive producer Brandon Braga at the panel screening last October. Every question that is brought up in the first couple of episodes is answered by the end of the season, with the season finale bringing up a whole new set of questions to be answered, hopefully in the second season if it comes to pass. God, I pray, please let it come to pass. So basically, Terra Nova has really good pacing. Kind of like one of my past favorite shows, Heroes, used to have. But unlike Lost, which had a tendency to drag on a bit before you found out anything. And then when it ended, you still didn't really know everything. By way of example, there was the question of Commander Taylor's son Lucas and the mysterious symbols written on the rocks in the waterfall. First episode, we find out that Lucas has been missing for some time, and he is connected with these symbols. By the end of the season, we know that Lucas is working with the moneyed interests of the future, year 2149, to make the portal to Terra Nova, which is one way, go both ways, so they can strip mine Terra Nova for its resources. All because he hates his father over the death of his mother in Somalia years previous. The symbols were Lucas's calculations that he writes on rocks to taunt his father, showing he was getting close to making the portal go both ways. Lucas is actually my favorite part about Terra Nova. I haven't seen a character this insane as Lucas since that Martin Kamey guy from Lost. He's a physicist too, so he's literally a mad scientist. In a way, since Lucas has 2 scars on the side of his head and he works for moneyed interests who want to strip mine Terra Nova, and he's crazy, he's more like Stephen Lang's character Quaritch from Avatar than Commander Taylor is. I can't help but feel that may have been intentional. Lucas, was demanding that mercenaries detonate a bomb to clear cut a forest so they could mine for meteoric ore while he's still in the blast radius, all because his father and his team were in the middle of it trying to deactivate it. There's also his relationship with Sky. Lucas has definite attraction to Sky. He has a tendency to get touchy-grabby with her. Some people think he really cares about her, but I think he's just a creep. But here's the weird part. Because Sky sees Taylor as a father figure, Lucas considers Sky as sort of his sister, and he calls her his beautiful sister. Yet he still gets a little handsy with her. Now, I have female friends who I consider like my family, and I don't call them beautiful or touch them inappropriately. I kinda like villains with deviant sexual tendencies because it shows how evil they are, at least to me. But Lucas is going out of his way to intentionally have a deviant sexual tendency when it doesn't really have one, because Sky isn't really a sister. Somehow to me it seems worse than incest. Anyway, back to Terra Nova's pacing. Further examples. First episodes revealed that there's a mole in Terra Nova, feeding information to the Sixers. As a reminder, the Sixers are a group of mercenaries working for the moneyed interests of 2149, who apparently infiltrated the Sixth Pilgrimage to Terra Nova. Everyone in Terra Nova came through the portal as a group known as the Pilgrimage. The most recent colonists are part of the 10th Pilgrimage. Anyway, at first I thought that the mole could be Chief Scientist Malcolm Wallace. He did seem to have an antagonistic relationship with Jim Shannon and Taylor. And in the second episode it is revealed that he may have had intentions toward Jim Shannon's wife, thinking that Jim Shannon was going to end up in Terra Nova. It's kind of cliche though, having the traitor also after the hero's love interest / wife. Terra Nova is too complex to give into those kinds of cliches. Then I thought it was Boylan, because he actually does business with the Sixers, yet turns out he never gave them any intel. So it was a complete surprise when in the 9th episode we discover the mole is actually Sky. And she's the mole because the Sixers have her mother, who everyone thought died of syncytial fever, and they have the cure that's keeping her alive as long as Sky gets them the intel they need. Yeah. In the 10th episode, Jim, Shannon, and Taylor figure it out, and her mom is rescued and cured, so that's the end of that. In the 2-part season finale, the mercenary Phoenix group, who work for the moneyed interests of 2149 and have occupied Terra Nova, ordered the Sixers to go into this place called the Badlands to retrieve a mysterious something. Their intention was to send it back to 2149, but the pro-Taylor resistance manages to switch the container with one containing Jim Shannon, the aforementioned bomb, and an anesthetized Carnotaur. Once it reaches Hope Plaza on the other side of the portal, Jim releases the Carnotaur and sets off the bomb, cutting Terra Nova off from the future to prevent further encroachment by the moneyed interests of 2149. Once they take back Terra Nova, it's revealed that the mysterious object is the figurehead of an 18th century ship. So this tells us that there's potentially another fracture in space-time that can open naturally, maybe even having done that for a long time. Leads me to wonder if there are potentially people from the 18th century living in Terra Nova. Maybe they're pirates. Pirates are popular these days. Dinosaurs and pirates? That would be awesome. However, here's a question that I do not feel has been completely addressed. I want to know more about what the world is like in 2149. We know snippets of things. There's heavy pollution, resources are dwindling, fruit is rare, seeming overpopulation, and so there's a two-child population control policy in effect. I don't think there's really overpopulation though, since at least in the real life, overpopulation is a myth. You can check out the Population Research Institute's series of videos on that below. Anyway, there's also apparently been military action in Somalia especially. There are people called the Russo-Chinese, potentially an alliance or a superstate, like in 1984 maybe. There were food riots in Detroit. Malcolm mentioned something called the Edinburgh hearings. Mira, the leader of the Sixers, was part of a group of people called secessionists. What they seceded from, I do not know. The moon is apparently no longer visible, and roller coasters are rare or have gone extinct. And most of all, I wonder about these moneyed interests of 2149, who are so keen on taking over Terra Nova. Who are they really, and what role do they play in the world of 2149? But here's the most enduring question. If there is this two-child population control policy in effect in 2149, why did the Shannons decide to have their third child, Zoe? Here's what I think. Given what we know about real-life population control policies, like in China, if a woman is found pregnant with an extra child, she is forcibly aborted. Now, no matter where you stand on this particular issue, I think we can all agree that forced abortions are wrong. It's very likely then that because these are being carried out in 2149 as part of the population control policy. It's very likely then that the Shannons are so against forced abortion, and maybe abortion in general, I pray, that in spite of the law, they went ahead and had Zoe. Note that Zoe means life in Greek. Might be significant. I say if Fox has any guts, they will go into that in the next season. But there is the possibility Terra Nova will not be renewed for another season. Fox has a tendency of canceling quality science fiction programs, like Firefly and Dollhouse. But Terra Nova has the unfortunate benefit of Joss Whedon not being involved in its production. That'd be so cool though if Joss Whedon was involved in Terra Nova. However, all hope is not lost. Terra Nova star Jason O'Mara is leading the charge among fans to have the show renewed for another season. There is a Save Terra Nova page on Facebook. There's a petition you can sign linked to the Facebook page. There's a Save Terra Nova Twitter account. There are frequent requests from there to tweet things to Fox. The links are below where you can like, subscribe, follow, and sign the petition. Also, Jason O'Mara has called on fans to show their support for a second season of Terra Nova by sending a bag of plastic dinosaurs to Kevin Riley of Fox Broadcasting from Amazon.com. There's a link below to TerraNovaTV.net where you can do that. I urge every fan watching to go to the link and do that right now. I already did it last week, now it's up to you. If we all do our part, we can save Terra Nova as the people of Terra Nova did in the finale, and have that second season. This concludes Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage. If you like what you have seen, please like, favorite, subscribe, and comment. All those nice things. Thank you for watching. God bless you all, and God bless America.